the most significant difference in brains between different people, times 100, is gender differences. When they started looking at this, they said men and women have unbelievable different wiring in their brain. And one of the ones I like to focus on the most is the stress, because it's so dramatic. Moderate stress, a woman has 8 times more blood flow in the emotional part of her brain. Now, how does she then cope with that? The brain releases a brain chemical called serotonin. So if she's under moderate stress almost every day, moderate stress, what's going to happen? She's running out of serotonin. So what helps her to replenish serotonin? Very important thing, which, by the way, is not antidepressants. But what got me looking at serotonin was 10 times more women. 9 out of 10 people taking antidepressants back in the 90s were women. And 9 out of 10 taking sleeping medications were women. So what was this about? So boys, the males, Mars, dopamine, the female, serotonin. Now ultimately, one day I'll write a book about creating lasting romance, and the title will be A Man with a Plan, a Woman with a Smile. The most attractive thing in men, from a woman's point of view, is a man with a plan. See, you see a guy, he's ambitious, he's moving ahead, he's got goals, he's got energy. He's basically moving his body, and women get thrilled today. Because most guys are passive, they're ice. They do their job, they come home, and they're dead men walking, or actually dead men on the couch. For women, what's the most attractive thing for a man when he sees a woman? And in his wife, a woman with a smile. There's nothing more important to a man in his life than a woman with a smile. And the men who would say, that's baloney, it's because they don't feel they can create that smile. They wanted that smile, they didn't get that smile, and now they're bitter and they stop caring, and they're definitely Mars on ice. So we want to understand the physiology of this, then we can understand the anecdotes I'm going to give and go, yes. So here's the basic foundation. The number one misunderstanding between men and women I see over and over. Woman's upset. Man tells her, don't be upset. Why are you upset? No reason to be upset. Just forget it. As if she could. He thinks he's helping. He thinks he's helping. It's pouring gasoline on a fire. It only makes it worse. And not, unless men are taught this information, they'll never get it. It is not instinctive. Every man, the way he copes with that fight or flight response, if you can't fight the enemy, run. And the way we do that is solve it or forget it. Because a problem, without taking action to solve that problem, raises a man's stress level. So the only way he can then cope with stress, if at the end of the day, when there's nothing I can do to solve those problems, how do we cope with it? Forget it. So with the guys, we're talking, don't worry about it, forget it, let's have a good time. I tried this in my marriage, it did not work. My wife's upset about something, I say, honey, just forget it, let's have sex. As if that was going to solve the problem. No way. She says, sex? Are you kidding? That's the last thing I can think about now. Because her brain, when she's under stress, is 8 times more active. What her brain needs is serotonin to release, to wash over the limbic system of the brain and calm her. Bring her back to the knowing that everything's okay. It doesn't have to happen now. Solutions don't have to be here right now. There's a sense of urgency. A sense of I have to do this, and I have to do this, and I have to send this in, and I have to do this. That word I have to, you should know, is just for a woman to know this is a signal you're off balance. You've run out of serotonin. Have to is not enough serotonin, high stress symptom. I have what I need. I have what I need. That's the feeling of serotonin. When serotonin washes over your brain. So we want to understand for women how to create more serotonin, and what can I do in a relationship as a man to help my wife have more serotonin, and what can she do to help me have more dopamine, and what as a man can I do to have more dopamine. But before we get to the solution to any of this stuff, because the solutions will sound sexist, they'll sound like they don't make sense, they'll sound unfair, until we understand this new problem that's facing so many people today.